Hello and welcome back to the Unboxers, and today we have for you some awesome new games to play. Check it out. 3 new games to introduce to you today, and we want to say a great big thank you to
University Games
for sending these to us for free to share with you today. So as you see, these 3 games, all of them are ages 3 and up for 2 to 4 players. So we have on the left, we have letter, number, or bug, catch the match and win. Then we have crisscross applesauce, the game of clapping, jumping, and playing. Hocus pocus, everybody focus, the game of now you see it, now you don't. So very, very cool. As a former preschool teacher, I will tell you, I read a little bit on the back of the box of these games, and the simpler the game, the more the kids love it, because they feel very confident in their ability to play, that they're not going to get confused, and the more they do it, the more that they become familiar with the game, and they enjoy playing it over and over again, which is an awesome thing. So these are play and learn, part of the play and learn system. Coordination, mathematics, and literacy. So let's take a look at the first one real quick. I am going to open it up and show you the pieces to the box, but I'm going to give you the overall gist. Like I said, they're pretty easy to understand how to play, and that's good because that makes it easy for you to teach the children how to play. So they'll probably teach you is the thing. That's how it usually ends up. But right here it says, let's make exploring letters and numbers really fun. So in this one, it says, is the next card a letter, number, or bug? So what you do is you have some of the card tiles laid out, and then you guess whether it's a letter, number, or bug that you're flipping over. And then once you flip it over, you race to find the match. You see right there, you made a match of what's already out. So then I guess if you make a match, you're the first one, then you get to collect it. So I'll show you a little bit more of the pieces in that when we open it up. But let's take a look next at crisscross applesauce. I remember saying this quite a bit. So if you're familiar with that, that's sitting that style right there with your legs crisscrossed. The game of clapping, jumping, and playing. So this one, it says, sit down, hold the talking stick, and draw a card. Next, you act out one of the 48 games like tracing letters, roaring like a lion, or doing jumping jacks. Take turns handing the talking stick to the next player, drawing new cards, and using your memory to act out all of the activities. So, from what I'm understanding, you have the stick. That's the person who can talk. So you have the stick that keeps everybody kind of quiet and focused. And then when the child draws the card, if it's a trace it, they take this. They can use the stick or do it with their finger in the air and trace the letter in the air. And then if it's an action, and then as well as if it's a pretend, like to pretend to be a frog. And I think it's like you have to do the actions of the kids in front of you, so it builds. It's one of those games like the first player traces the banana, and then the second player does the jumping jacks, and the second player traces the banana, then does the jumping jacks. Then the third player would be trace the bee, do the jumping jack, and then ribbit like a frog. So I think it builds, so that's how you have the memory part in there, as well as it's really cool because it's very active. That's a cool active game. And then we have Hocus Pocus, Everybody Focus. So in this one, you have certain cards laid out. Everybody looks at them, and then one person uses a spinner, and they have to either take away something, add something, or I don't know what the third one is. Maybe it's their choice, but I'll take a look on the instructions. But anyway, if they take away one, then everybody puts their mask on. They take away one, and then when they tell everybody to remove their mask, the first person to realize which one they've taken away, or in the other case added, then they will be then they win that round. So that looks pretty cool too. I've done something similar to keep, that kind of like, it's kind of like finding things and remembering where things are, and what thing did you have in the picture that you don't see now, or what wasn't there before. This is really, really good for focus, and I can definitely tell you that after playing similar online things with focus. I think this is a really cool way to have the focus game right on hand. You can see the size of these boxes. They're really great for travel as well. And so now we're going to open up the boxes and just kind of show you the pieces inside, and make any adjustments to the instructions if we had something wrong or something we need to add. Alright, so now let's take a closer look at letter, number, or bug. Here's the instructions, and I'll show them to you in just a minute. They're laid out very easily, and they have a nice picture. These, ta-da!
Are the bugs.
Are the bugs. And then we have letters, as you can tell. It's on both sides of these. So, letters. And then we also have numbers down here. Whoop, wait a minute. I think it's in here somewhere. There you go. You see some of the numbers. So these are the ones that you lay out, but I will explain that in just a second. These are the ones that you're going to flip, and you're going to have these in a stack. You're going to have them all, you know, face down in a stack in the middle, and these will be your playing cards. So far as the others, I'll explain what you do with those because you put them in different places. So let's take a closer look at the instructions real quick, and I'll go over it. So it says to set it up, shuffle and place the larger cards that I just showed you in the deck face down. Then scatter the smaller letters and numbers kind of in the middle area, making sure the cards do not overlap so that they're easily seen. And here's something different. You take the bug cards and the tiles and spread them throughout the room, away from that, kind of like hidden around the room. In the main play area, though. You begin with the youngest player, and then they turn over one of the larger cards. So when they turn over the larger card, well, actually, first of all, let me back up a minute. The younger player is the one to go first, and then they ask, is it going to be letter, number, or bug? They also get to guess, and then they flip it over. So if it is a letter or number, the person who, well, the two people who guessed, okay, so, let me see. Okay, so if it is, like if we turned it over, this one, and it was a letter, let's see, like F right here, then the people who guessed that it was a letter get to try and match that F to the little ones that are laid out here. So the first one to put their hand on it and match it gets to take it, and they get that card. So only the people who guessed that letter, guessed letter, get to do that. Also, if they guess bug, the one who guessed bug get to go around and find the bug where it is around the room. If no one guesses bug, everybody gets to get up and try and find that bug. And then that person, they get to take the bug and put that back in front of them as well. All right, so, and then to win the game ends when once a player collects 5 answer tiles. So that could be bugs, letters, numbers. So you kind of need to take a guess, and then if you're right, you need to be on the alert because you're going to need to find that thing either around the room or right there with the letters and numbers. So really cool. I like the fact that you hide the bugs around the room. Seems like a very simple game where you turn it over and you make a guess. I like that you guess ahead of time. That puts everybody playing at the same time instead of waiting their specific turn. So, all right, let's move on to the next one. All right, now let's look at Hocus Pocus, Everybody Focus. All right, so for this one, you have a spinner. So the little spinning piece is in here, but you know how a spinner works. Then you have these object cards. You also have these little wooden objects as well. And then you have these, which count as the blindfold. You can see, like, you would turn it around, put it over your nose, and then you would be, that's your little blindfold, so that you can't see which object is added or removed. So I'm going to briefly show you the instructions. There you have it, and it has the pictures laid out of what everything is. So the youngest player starts again, but what they do at the beginning of the game is you want to choose, according to how many players, you just kind of choose from the objects that are here. that go in these little blue things, and then the wooden objects, 10 objects total to place around the spinner. And you're going to want to put them in a certain place and not adjust them, because you're going to be kind of memorizing where they are, so that you can do the game easier. So then when you start with the youngest player, if it lands on a plus, which you see on the spinner, you have everyone cover their eyes, you add something, and then the player to the left answers. Where this is different, and then with the minus, the same way, you would take away an object instead of adding an object. Where this is different, other than the player on the left, if you get this, everybody answers. So you would do take one away or add one, and then everybody would answer, as opposed to just the person on your left. Okay, so if you get it right, you get to take that object. So say the duck was there, and then the duck disappeared, and you guessed the duck, that would become your object. And once you have 5 of those objects, you win the game. So that's the object, is to get 5 of those removed. So you want to keep an eye on what it looks like, see if there's anything removed or added, and then that will help you win the game. And of course, you have a greater chance if it lands on everybody and you get to answer every time. So that is super fun. I love the little blindfolds. And now we'll take a look at Crisscross Applesauce. All right, let's take a look at Crisscross Applesauce. So with Crisscross Applesauce, you have, ta-da, you have your little cards, which we said on the back. Trace, pretend, or action. You're going to start with the youngest player again. They're going to draw an activity card, and they're going to also take the talking stick, which is a nice little wooden dowel rod. What they do is they act this out. So you don't show everybody your tracing card. You kind of act it out with, if it's a pretend or an action. You can even use the talking stick, especially if you're going to do the tracing. And then everybody kind of guesses what it is. And then what you do is, after you do your action, you flip that card over in front of you so that people can't see it, because they're supposed to remember it. So the second player will do the first player's action, say it was trace the U, and then they will do whatever their card says. Each player builds until you can see how many of those you can do in a row. In between each player, after they finish their turn, they say crisscross applesauce to remind everybody to sit correctly and to kind of draw their attention to, this activity's done, let's move on and remember it so that you can keep building. Now this one, if you can do 5 activities without forgetting, then you get 5. You are a beginner, and it goes all the way up to a legend at 14.
Whoa.
That is pretty high, but you know, I bet kids could do a lot better than I could in this category. But gameplay continues clockwise as players work together to flip over as many activity cards as possible. Count the number of sequences completed to see where the group ranks on the scale below. So this is like a group thing. So as soon as you get to the part where you don't remember all of the things, then you take the highest number that you got and kind of see how you did and try and do better the next time. So this is really cool. It's kind of like a work together game, and hopefully you can remember all of those things, make it memorable. And I like the talking stick because you pass it along, keeps everybody focused, and that is the player whose turn it is and who's supposed to actually be talking. So I like that they include that. All right, so there's one last look at our 3 new games. They look like a lot of fun. My little guys are not this young anymore, but I certainly would have loved to play it with them. And I think kids ages 3 and up, because I think I already would really like this, will enjoy these games. So we want to say another great big thank you to
University Games
for sending these to us for free to share with you today. Thanks so much for watching. As always, come back and see us, like, subscribe, and we will see you next time.